Hello and welcome to this free mandolin lesson aimed at beginner and intermediate players. We're going to be looking at a wonderful festive Christmas song called Silent Night. We're going to learn 3 different versions of it, getting harder as we go along, and the hardest one will eventually sound a bit like this. So at this point, I'd like to mention that everything we talk about in the next 15 minutes or so is included on a free PDF, which you can download below by clicking the link, so you can have it, read everything while we talk about it in this lesson. So we're going to start with just the basic tune, the core melody, and I didn't really used to like this tune that much. I sort of never really got along with it, but then I heard it in F, the key of F, and I think it sounds really nice on the mandolin, so we're going to spend the whole lesson playing Silent Night in the key of F. So we're just going to dive in and we're going to play the main melody. You should have it on a sheet in front of you. For beginner players, I suggest you just pause the video and just have a little play through it yourself. It's all in first position. So any first frets, you got your F natural, make sure your first finger, and then I'm using my little finger to catch the 6th fret at the end. And before we do, just to mention the chords. So there's 4 chords in this: F, C, C7 and B flat. And I've included the chord charts on the sheet. So for F, I'm playing this one, 5, 3 and O. For C, I'm playing this one, O, 2, 3. And then C7 is this shape, 3, 2, 3. So F, C7. And then B flat, I like this B flat, 3, 0, 1. You can also put the high 1 in, but I just play 3, 0, 1. That's what I'll be using for B flat. So those are your 4 chords: F, C, C7 and B flat. So I'm going to have the metronome on that you can hear it. I'm going to play it twice through. I'm going to play the melody first time round, and then I'm going to play the chords. And it's up to you what you do. You can either do the opposite of me or the same as me. And for chord rhythms, either a nice simple waltz time, so bass, strum, strum, or I tend to add in a few extra upstrokes. Just to give it a little bit of a lilt. Again, that's tabbed out below so you can see how it sounds. So let's dive in straight away and play the core melody plus the chords to Silent Night. So after 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, and that metronome is clicking at 85 BPM. So I'm going to do chords and melody and then the chords. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Little finger. Two, 3, 1, 2, and again. F. C. 7. B flat. So the first thing we're going to do with that melody, and hopefully you got it first time round, if you didn't, loop back, and don't forget in the corner down here on YouTube you can use the cog, press the cog, click on playback speed, and you can slow me down to the speed that is appropriate for you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do some double stops to that melody. Now I've done a few lessons on double stops in the past, so I'm not going to go through each note individually. I'm just going to present you the overall outline and then show you my example. So this is in the key of F, and for those 4 chords that we have, we need to know those 4 arpeggios. So we need to know our F arpeggio, B flat arpeggio, C arpeggio, and ideally as well, our C7 arpeggio. So F is made up of F, A and C. I'll say that properly. F, A and C. F, A, C, F, A. So when we're making a double stop, we can use any of those notes with the melody note and it will sound nice. So for example, the first note of the whole song is a C. So which takes away the C of the F, A and C, so we can add an F or an A to make that into a double stop, and I've gone for A. And when we start adding double stops, you start having to shift around the neck a bit more. So I have also written in how I would use my fingers, but you could do with that second and little finger, or you could I do it with first and third finger like so. So there's the first double stop. And then bar 2 goes to an A in the melody, which means I have an F and C left to make the double stop. So I've gone for F. I could have gone for C, which would have meant there. So I could have got the C in down there. So there's no right answer when it comes to double stops, just what you like the sound of, and it's a bit of trial and error. So I suggest you just have a look through those arpeggios in the book. So B flat, D and F, C, E and G. And then C7, which has the same notes as C, E, G, and B flat. So using that theory, I've gone through the melody and I've written my own version. I highly suggest you get a little pencil out, print out the main melody and maybe add in your own double stops. But I'm going to play through now my double stops, and I'm going to split screen so you can hear the chords next to it. And I'm just going to play it through once with the metronome on so you can hear it and try to play along, and then maybe try and write your own version. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. So hopefully you were able to play along with me. Double stops can sometimes take a while, so feel free just to keep looping back, keep going through that melody until you've got it under your fingers. Because the next melody is built from melody number 2. Now when I play those double stops, I don't hold them. I don't trust my mandolin to ring out for long enough. If we were a fiddle player and we had a bow that was moving across the strings, we just keep that bow touching the strings and that note rings out for the full 3 beats. On the mandolin, there's quite a big drop off. If you're slightly wrong, the note stops dead. So when I'm playing double stops, I like to keep my right hand working. I don't like it to have rests. So for example, if I was to play the first phrase, which was originally this. So we've got some notes in there that are not being used. You know, when you've got in bar 2 that note that lasts 3 beats, you've essentially got 5 eighth notes after it that aren't being used. 1 and 2 and 3 and that are not being used. So I like to fill them in. So my first 2 bars now sound like this. So I'm holding the double stop, still catching the melody, and in the gap, almost use the same double stop, so I've still got the F and the A there, and then I'm just bringing in the C to make that F chord. I'm just filling in the gap, so I've got sort of a melody going on and then some other notes just to fill the blank space. And now I love doing this with my double stops because of the fact that sometimes the mandolin doesn't ring out as long as needed. So instead of just, you can go, just rest on those double stop notes, just very lightly. And if you can, keep the melody notes slightly louder than those, so they're just like accompanying notes rather than, if you play them too loud, you sort of start wondering what's a melody and what's a double stop. So once again, I've given you an example of this. I've gone through the whole piece. I'm not going to go through it all here. And I'm just going to dive in and play it. The only thing I would like to mention is at the very end of the piece, there's a little bluegrass G run to finish. So the last bar, or the last two bars, so that's how it sounds. You slide from 5 to 7, and then your little finger ends up on the 8th fret. So just get that under your fingers. Probably not originally written in the very nice original version of the Carol to Silent Night, but there's always space for a bluegrass G run. So that's how that sounds. So split screen again, so I'm going to have mandolin just playing some chords and I'm going to play the melody so you can hear how it sounds. This is a really useful technique, so it's well worth the effort. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. So there we have it, like 3 levels of Silent Night. So in a very short space of time, we've done the core melody, the chords, a double stop melody, and then a double stop plus additional notes melody. So you've got something for every level, a really beautiful tune in the key of F. I hope you've enjoyed playing it. Please do hit like and subscribe while you're here. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and hopefully a Happy New Year as science comes careering over the hill to rescue us. And we'll see you in 2021.